Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in the middle of all the crazy things that are going on all over the world, the general sort of craziness that's happening, another crazy thing happened, but it sort of almost got slipped by unnoticed because, so many other things going on. Don't think it's like really been big on the news. Well, so, maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't heard it. But yeah, this is one of those cases, isn't it? Madeleine McCann. So, despite the fact that the German police are convinced, according to them, have said several times that Christian Breukner is definitely, according to them, I mean, they virtually come out and said it, they think he is the person who not only abducted Madeleine but murdered her. He's now been released from prison. So he refused to speak to British police. He was in prison in Germany for an unrelated incident. Has been released despite the facts. See what I just don't understand about all this. And let me know what you think in comments. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, which actually I'm just going to take that off while I remember to take it off. If they're so certain, that Christian Breukner abducted this little girl and killed her, of course, Madeleine McCann. I don't think there'll be any of you out there who don't know the case of Madeleine McCann. She's probably the most famous missing person, certain missing child of all time. Wherever you live in the world, you'll probably know about Madeleine McCann. On holiday in Praia da Luz in Portugal with her family. Her parents, for some unknown reason, decided to leave Madeleine, who was only 3 years old, and her twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, leave them alone in their apartment while they went out and had a jolly up with their friends. Said that it was like leaving someone, a child being in your back garden. Well, it's nothing like that. I've been to the scene. It is, you would never leave young children alone in that apartment. But anyway, they did, and that's it. And of course, them being doctors and seemingly having contacts somewhere or another, they were never even charged with neglect when their daughter went missing. Anyway, this was quite a long time ago now, of course. And I think Madeleine would be around 21 years old now. If she's still alive somewhere, who knows? But anyway, not according to the German police. The German police arrested a guy called Christian Breukner, who was in the area at the time, and that is definitely true. When I went to Praia da Luz, I spoke to someone who knew Christian Breukner. He didn't think he had anything to do with it. Believe me, everyone in that area, in the actual area of the resort, think the family had something to do with it. That's just, I don't know that that's true. There's no evidence, again, really. All comes down to evidence, doesn't it? Now, the German police said they had evidence that they thought that Christian Breukner had taken Madeleine and evidence that she was deceased. So, but they've never come out with that. And now Christian Breukner has been released from prison. So you've got to wonder, what is the evidence then? If you're so certain, I mean, maybe he did. But it's so certain that he did, and the evidence is so certain, why has he been released from prison? Anyway, as always, please let me know what you think in comments. This case, is it going to be one of those just going to rumble on and on and on and on? And nobody's ever going to find out exactly what happened to Madeleine. Thing is, if Madeleine's parents, Jerry and Kate, did not have anything to do with her disappearance, it's awful because they have had shade cast at them over all these years. But I don't think unwarrantedly, you know, without going into the whole case from the beginning. I do have a Madeleine McCann playlist, which I'll try and remember to link to this video. Yeah, a lot of shade cast their way for various reasons. But maybe, you know, it's nothing to do with them, and it was Christian Breukner, but then why haven't the police? I just don't understand why he hasn't been charged then, if the German police are so 100% convinced that it's Christian Breukner. So apparently just before he was released, he did refuse to speak to the British police, which, you know, is his right. Where's the evidence? You know, you can't just sort of, you know, it's, you know, I'm a bit speechless over it, because the German police seem so convinced. It's unusual for the police to come out and say, of any country, to come out and say somebody did something without any evidence. But really, that's what's happened, isn't it? You know, and Christian Breukner, it seems like he's not a very nice person. I think we'd all agree with that. He's got other offences. But if he didn't do it, it's terrible that he's been accused of it like that, I believe, anyway. But if he hasn't done anything, it'd be terrible, wouldn't it? So maybe he will find out later down the line. Maybe there's other things going to come out sooner or later. So let's have a look at this TV. Just have a look what they had to say on the BBC about it. I just wanted to make a quick video just in case you had not heard. It's quite, you know, because there's a lot of other things going on at the moment in the news. Sometimes stories get lost, don't they? So let's have a look.
Germany, where in the last hour, the main suspect in the disappearance of British toddler Madeleine McCann has been released from prison. Police confirmed Christian Breukner was driven out of jail by his lawyer. The German national had been serving a sentence for an unrelated offence from 2005. German prosecutors say he is dangerous and should be fitted with an ankle tag. Breukner denies any involvement in Madeleine McCann's disappearance. The 3-year-old vanished from the Portuguese resort of Praia da Luz in 2007. She and her siblings had been left sleeping in a holiday apartment while her parents went for dinner at a nearby restaurant.
Yeah, so is he dangerous? You know, if he's dangerous, I mean, where has he been released? Where has he gone? You know, he's been released. Has he gone back to the sort of local area where he comes from? It's quite scary, really. If he is guilty of taking Madeleine, it's a bit worrying, isn't it, really?
Well, let's get the latest from Bethany Bell, who's at the prison near Hanover in Germany. Bethany, bring us up to date.
Well, we saw a black car, we understand driven by Breukner's lawyer. The windows were tinted. We couldn't see who was inside, but the police confirmed to us that Breukner was inside that car. It was escorted by several police vans. The authorities have not said where Breukner is going. We understand that he will be fitted with an ankle tag. Prosecutors who said he is dangerous applied for that, and his lawyer and German media have reported that he will be fitted with an ankle tag, and also that he will have to surrender his passport.
And Bethany, why, when Christian Breukner is considered the main suspect in the Madeleine McCann disappearance case, is he able to be freed from prison?
Good question.
He was in prison for a separate offence, an unrelated offence. He was in prison for the rape of a 72-year-old American tourist in Portugal in 2005. The prosecutors have said,
you know, that's still, I mean, I know, you know, at the end of the day, bad people are bad people, twonks are twonks. But you couldn't get much more opposite, could you, really, than a sort of a 72-year-old woman or a 3-year-old child. Normally, sort of child sex offenders, you know, they don't normally attack 72-year-old women. But, you know, of course, that means nothing. But, you know, well, I say it means nothing. It means something, because do you see what I'm saying? It's two opposite ends of the spectrum as far as victim types are concerned. That's, you know, so, but But it's not unheard of, is it? For some people, it is just the power of exerting over someone. Could be an older person, you know, they pick victims who are vulnerable and easy to pick on. So obviously a 70-odd-year-old woman is an easy target, as is a child. So that is two similarity that they have, even though as far as age is concerned, they're completely opposite ends of the spectrum. But yeah, interesting, really, the difference in the two victims, if it's true that Madeleine is his victim.
That he has served his sentence and is being released for that. The prosecutors, though, say they are continuing to investigate possible connections with the Madeleine McCann case. They say they have evidence that connects him with the disappearance and death of Madeleine McCann, but they say it's not strong enough for them to be able to issue an arrest warrant or to obtain a guilty verdict in court, a likely guilty verdict in court. But they are continuing with the investigation to see whether they can establish firmer evidence. Christian Breukner denies any connection with.
Well, he will, won't he? He's bound. He's not going to say, "Oh, yeah, I did it." But it's interesting, isn't it? Because they're carrying on. They've been investigating for a long time, and they haven't got enough evidence still. So it makes you worry: will they ever get enough evidence?
The Madeleine McCann case, and he's never been charged with it.
Bethany, we know that there have been lots of investigations going on, Portuguese and British police involved in recent months, but Christian Breukner has refused to be interviewed by London's Metropolitan Police, hasn't he?
The Metropolitan Police asked for an interview with him. That was declined, but we do know that German prosecutors continue to work on this case. Because of differences between the German legal system and the British legal system, in Germany, prosecutors say they suspect Breukner of being involved with the disappearance and murder of Madeleine McCann. In Britain, the case is being treated as a missing persons case. But we understand from prosecutors that they will continue to work on this.
This disappearance of this little toddler.
No, I just want to say, but from the people I spoke to when I was in Proud Duluth, who knew Christian Breukner, they said he was like a van lifer, you know, he was, and I just want to say something, and I think I've probably said it before in other videos, but when people go on holiday, they leave their brains behind them sometimes. It's like they think that nothing can happen on holiday. But you know, as a take it from a person who lives in it's not a holiday area really where I am, but not far away from a tourist area in Spain. So I live in Spain, in mainland Europe, in mainland Spain, in Europe. You get a lot of dodgy people around tourist places. It's a very transient society. People come and go from all, you know, in Spain, people come from all over, not just British people, but there'd be German people, Dutch, Swedish, you name it, French, you name the nationality. People pass through these holiday destinations. Sometimes, you know, most people are coming on holiday, you know, they come for their couple of weeks and they go, but there are van life type, I can't explain it any other way. There are people that move from tourist destination to tourist destination. There are criminals here that come here to Spain, or, you know, in particular, to escape maybe some offences they've committed in their own country. You know, there's a lot of, Tony King was a very famous example of a man who was you know, wanted for RAPE in London and strangling women, and he fled from there with his wife, came to live in Spain and became a serial killer in Spain. You know, these things happen. So I think really what I'm trying to say to people is, you know, don't think that just because you're in a foreign country you think it's safe, you know. So if the McCanns genuinely are innocent themselves, they'll have left the children in the apartment because they thought it was safe. It's not safe. In fact, if anything, it's less safe in these holiday places because there are a lot of people passing through. These people pass through, you know, and I don't know what happened after Madeleine disappeared, whether he then left the area immediately or did he stay in the area. You know, he was a bit of a free spirit, according to what I was told. You know, he was just one of those people that hang around the holiday areas, and they're there one day and then they're gone the next, and you don't really think about them again. You know, they might stay a month, they might stay a year, they might even stay a couple of years, and then suddenly they're off either back to their own country or, you know, back off to another country nearby. So I just want people to know that just because you're on holiday doesn't mean to say you are safe or your children are safe. In fact, if anything, although it doesn't feel like it, they're probably less safe because there's probably more unsavory characters hanging around than you even realize. You know, there's things going on in these holiday destinations that you wouldn't even know about unless you lived there.
Madeleine McCann, it became one of the highest profile missing person cases in the world, Bethany. Just to take us back to 2007 and remind us of the details.
Yes, she disappeared from the holiday home where she was. Her parents had gone out for dinner at a close by restaurant. She disappeared. And of course, this is something that for many, many years has really focused the attention of people. And it was just a few years ago that the German prosecutors announced that they believed that Breukner was their suspect in this case. But as I say, their evidence so far is not enough for them to have issued an arrest warrant or enough for them to be confident of securing a guilty verdict in court.
Bethany Bell there outside the prison in Germany. Thank you.
So at the end of the day, let me know your comments. What do you think? Do you think Christian Breukner had anything to do with it? You know, just to me, I just think if I've, you know, because I've been saying this for a few years and yet they haven't been able to get all the evidence together. I don't know, you know, I don't know if he did have anything to do with it, or is he just a handy patsy to, you know, because they, at the end of the day, everybody wants to solve this case. You know, the German police, God, if they thought they could solve it and bring a conviction, you know, because this is, as I say, the most famous missing persons case, certainly of a child, probably ever, you know, it's internationally known about. So, gosh, you know, the police force that finally solves it, if it ever gets solved, you know, a lot of kudos in there, isn't it? And, you know, probably that, and of course, I expect they want to solve it. They want to bring someone to account if they've done something really horrible like abduct and murder a child. Anyway, let me know what you think. But that's the news today. He's been released, and but he's going to have a tag on, so they'll know where he is. At least that's a good thing. And if any further evidence comes up, I suppose they'll be able to take him back to prison. But I just don't feel like it's going to happen somehow. Just not resonating with me. But anyway, hopefully I'm wrong. So, yeah, let me know what you feel. This little girl doesn't feel like she's still alive, does it? Feels like she was unalived, probably by somebody, or maybe died by accident, or just don't feel like she's still on this planet, really. But you never know. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about little Madeleine. I'm going to put a candle up for her, bless her. And yeah, is Christian Breukner the person responsible for the disappearance of Madeleine McCann? Will we ever know? Will we ever know? Now, of course, there'll be, actually, just thinking about it, won't there be a court case coming up soon for the fake Madeleine McCann? Anyway, I'll look out for that on the news. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about little Madeleine. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you for watching.
you.